After months of searching, I finally found it. The ultimate predator of aquatic ecosystems, a creature so voracious, so fast, that it barely lets itself be seen before it strikes, and one that has spent its entire life perfecting the art of the ambush. It all started when, after months of filming different aquatic ecosystems inside jars, I realized there was still one creature I hadn't found. So, under a scorching summer heat, I set out to look for it, walking down solitary paths, not really knowing what to expect. Until suddenly, I saw something on the trunk of a tree that told me I was in exactly the right place. I had no idea what might be waiting for me beneath that water. And it was freezing, so cold that just touching it took my breath away. But if I really wanted to make it happen, if I wanted to find what I had been chasing for months, there was no other choice but to dive in, take a deep breath, and go for it. Without thinking twice, without giving myself time to back out. Once I was in, I tried to catch the insects swimming across the surface, moving slowly, carefully, trying not to startle them, but one after another, they kept getting away. I collected water from different spots around the area, a bit from here, a bit from there, checking every corner carefully, along with a few small branches I found near the shore. And without wasting another second, I ran straight home, hoping I had finally gotten exactly what I'd been searching for all this time. Once I was home, going through everything carefully, I realized that hidden among the leaves I had collected was the very creature I'd been searching for, a dragonfly larva. I combined the water from the different containers into one to see what else had come along with it, because these larvae tend to hide right there, beneath the roots of aquatic plants and among the dead leaves that fall into the water. And now, pay close attention to how it breathes underwater, because it doesn't breathe through its mouth or ordinary gills. It breathes through its own rectum, drawing water in and then pushing it back out, a mechanism as strange as it is fascinating. And the curious part is, it doesn't need to be fully submerged. It just needs to keep that part of its body underwater to breathe normally, even if the rest stays exposed. But that's not all, because that same chamber it uses to breathe also works as a propulsion engine, expelling water with such force that it can shoot itself forward in an instant to escape from predators. And here's something you might not know. Adult dragonflies have some of the best vision in the entire animal kingdom, able to pick up the slightest movement around them. And this larva, even without wings yet, already has those same compound eyes. Hundreds of tiny lenses working together so it doesn't miss a single detail. In fact, while I was filming it up close, it was watching me too, the whole time, tracking every single move I made. And based on its size, this larva is very close to becoming a dragonfly. So close that it now spends most of its time half out of the water, getting ready for that final moment. Because when the time comes, it will climb out, grip on tightly, and break out of its exoskeleton, leaving behind that empty shell we saw earlier, still clinging to the tree. And here's something very few people know. These larvae have an extendable jaw known as a mask, folded beneath their head, ready to extend at just the right moment. When they spot their prey, they thrust it forward in a fraction of a second, powered by a jet of water they expel from their own body, and they catch it without giving it any chance to escape. They are extremely voracious predators, so pay close attention, because you're about to see them in action, something that's rarely ever been captured this up close. And honestly, time seems to stop completely the instant that jaw shoots out toward its prey. But then I realized I had a serious problem. I didn't have anything at home that these creatures actually like to eat, because mealworms, to my surprise, didn't seem to interest them at all. So I had no choice but to get ready to head out first thing the next morning in search of their favorite food, mosquito larvae. And what I found along the way turned out to be far more fascinating than I ever imagined. I found a small pool of water completely swarming with mosquito larvae, but looking closer, I realized there was something else hidden inside it. It was home to a crayfish, an invasive species in this area, although, like other invasive creatures, this crayfish isn't to blame for that. It's simply trying to survive wherever it ends up, often without ever having chosen to be there. That said, it definitely had a bad attitude, which is completely normal after being pulled out of its hiding spot without warning and suddenly exposed to daylight. It had huge claws, incredibly strong ones, so big that other crayfish in the area couldn't even compete with it, and it kept waving them around as if warning me not to get too close. So, After watching it for a while from a safe distance, I decided the best thing to do was leave it alone and return it to its hiding spot, exactly as I had found it. I didn't stick around much longer. I was in a hurry to get back home to feed the dragonfly larvae, and this whole adventure suddenly made sense the moment I placed the mosquito larvae in front of them, because I finally got to see up close that extendable jaw I had heard so much about. In order to become a dragonfly, these larvae don't grow all at once. Instead, they go through several molts throughout their life, sometimes 10, 15, or even more, depending on the species, shedding their exoskeleton each time their body gets too small for it. And this entire process, underwater, can last anywhere from a few months to several years, depending on the species and the conditions of the place they live in. But the most surprising part is how they detect prey without being able to see very well at the bottom of the water, because their entire body is covered in tiny sensory hairs, capable of picking up the faintest vibration in the water, so sensitive that they can sense prey approaching before they even see it. And there's something else too. When the water in their pond starts to run low, some species are able to bury themselves in the damp mud and survive that way, almost in a kind of pause, until the rain fills everything back up again. But there were more larvae in the water, and look at this one, because it has something that immediately caught my attention. A kind of elongated filament sticking out of its head, like a small antenna or a little flag. Everything points to this being a parasitic fungus called Ophiocordyceps odonati, a close relative of the famous cordyceps fungus that infects ants, and one that's also capable of growing inside dragonflies and their larvae. This is the first time I've seen something like this with my own eyes, and honestly, it's as fascinating as it is unsettling. Living underwater, surrounded by predators and constant change, comes at a price, and this larva understands that better than anyone. Every molt is, in a way, a small rebirth, a moment when its body is left vulnerable while the new exoskeleton hasn't hardened yet. And it's exactly then that it's most exposed to losing part of its body. But nature gave it an advantage few people would expect. If it loses a leg during an attack, it doesn't lose it forever. It's able to regenerate it little by little, molt after molt, until it almost fully recovers its original shape. That's why, for as long as I get the chance, I'll keep observing them closely, day after day, hoping that one day I'll capture the exact moment they transform into dragonflies. These videos take an enormous amount of effort, time, and care behind the scenes, so if you genuinely enjoyed what you just watched, I'd truly appreciate it. From the bottom of my heart, if you gave it a like and left a comment, and trust me, that small gesture would help me out enormously.